What does urban mean to you?
What does urban mean to me? Urban means when you're making music with limited material, when like you ain't got the best samples, you ain't got all the plugins, you might not have paid for your software, but you're still making bangers. That's what urban means to me.
Urban music, whatever, you've got everything from dubstep, drum and bass, jungle. Drum and bass now, you've got like jump up, you've got deep stuff, you've got like liquid, you've got tech, you've got drum step.
Urban music is so many things now, and it's so many different scenes collided, whereas in the past it would be like, you're into this, you're into that, you're into that. Now, urban music covers everything. Grime, dancehall, old school drum and bass, dubstep.
It's not just like one genre that they're doing, so you've got a bit of hip hop in there, a bit of roots, reggae, dub, grime, it's all in there. Music moves on, it's always a progression, always progresses.
Where do you think urban music originated from?
I think it originated from people who didn't have a lot, people who just had the passion. Yeah, just had the passion and just had the love for the music.
Yeah, blessed, highly blessed. Don't know, yeah. Yeah, highly blessed, yo. Sit back and I meditate, higher meditation, just learn to levitate.
Over the past few years, something's happened in the music industry. The term urban is being used more and more to describe musicians and their music. It's used to describe me and my music.
And now you're your own man. First thing you need to do is organize your own plan. And get with the program, cause the system ain't set for no man. So don't
Blessed. I'm highly blessed, an up-and-coming artist. I make music that fits into many genres, but I'm still considered as an urban artist. So what is urban, and why am I labelled that way?
so high that I levitate. I meditate.
But when I really think about it, most urban artists are black, or at least the music is of black origin. So it got me wanting to find out, is all urban music really of black origin? And did it come out of Africa?
My medication, come on a rasta man on a simulation. We recognize real without no hesitation. Black say I got a vivid imagination. Cause I also love CI without no hesitation. And Empress men without no hesitation. Yeah. Rastafari, true say you live in your life.
I want to speak to a friend of mine, a musician who teaches African beats in urban environments. Let's see what he has to say on the roots of urban music.
My name is Ben Badu. I come from Ghana originally, and I've been in Bristol since 1976.
So, as an African, so to speak, yeah, what's your take on the way music has, urban / mobile music has gone now?
Well, I think when we talk about urban music is the latest young people music, young black people's music, which has now taken over all over the world at the moment. You go to America, back to Africa, they're doing urban music. Now when you talk about urban music, then we gotta go back and talk about what actually started urban music. It's all started with the same way which reggae music, jazz, all this music come from a particular pattern which the slaves brought with them. Obviously, as a slave, they're not allowed to carry drums, but the pattern is in their head. And this is a 4-beat pattern. They call it 5-beat rhythm. 5-beat rhythm, which is, it goes pa, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is the core of the music. So originally, 5-beat rhythm will be played on that. And then, to accompany that, to make it more mellow, because it's metally, they use things like this,
And that's
which is a shaker.
Yeah.
Again, made out of big cord. Again, and they use it. If you play the 5-beat for me, I'm sure you can play the 5-beat. You are a very intelligent person, you can play it.
That's the bass, isn't it?
That's the bass. That's the big bass of the music.
There's 2 drums in front of me now, like,
Yeah.
and I can see. Well, I've never seen a drum like this before.
Both of them together is called a parafatumpan. And this drum actually was the first drum the white man came in contact with in Africa as a missionary. And they nicknamed it the bush telegraph. The reason why it is called the bush telegraph is simply because the local people use it for communication between villages in the jungle. Originally, it was tuned with pegs. If you notice those holes that have sealed, yes. But seeing the djembe, the way djembe is tuned, which it keep in this country, the djembe managed to hold the tune because of the way it's tuned.
Yeah, because of the strings.
Exactly. So I cut those pegs, seal it off, and use the djembe metal to skin it.
So in a way, this is like, it's a customized drum as well then.
It is a
because
customized.
It's not the original.
It's not, exactly. Like you said,
Yeah.
you customize the music, you customize the instrument, that's what it is.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah?
You're welcome. You're
Let's,
welcome.
yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll come and see you again, yeah?
Come and see me anytime.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's, yeah?
Cheers.
As well as the knowledge, obviously. Man, give me a drum as well, so back to practicing, you get what I'm saying? What our ancestors couldn't physically bring, they brought with them in their hearts and minds and adapted it to the surroundings they were living in. So I can see that the music is being customized all the time. But what does urban actually mean? And how did it get associated with African music?
Physical contact creates cultural contacts, create mixing, so different styles are present. So country and western is there in reggae, funk is there in reggae. We're not talking about a one direction, we're thinking now, especially with technology, multiple directions of influence. The diaspora, with its elements of Africanism surviving the music, now influencing the music on the continent and the music coming back. So even this concept of from Africa to urban, it's Africa to urban to African and urban and back.
So I'ma let it out right now like this. Me and Ben work together like cheese and nachos. We'll make the beats, then I'll make the bars, then we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
I'm Edson Burton, I'm a historian and I'm a writer. And one of the things that particularly interests me is how African culture has survived from the diaspora into the new world.
Describe to me what urban is today, you see what I'm saying, and how has it got to that way?
Urban has become a concept that's been a catch-all for a range of music, but also I think for the increasing ethnic diversity of that music.
Where I'm from, man, steal and fight for a living. Shot jobs hard and grind for a living. Plus, you know, there's some grimier women.
The term urban, it doesn't neatly fit the description of music done by people of the African diaspora.
Really matters as long as you like what I'm spitting. Who wants to come get fun in here? The beat's dirty like unwashed underwear. Just know that it's done today. You better come prepared or get left looking stunned and scared. It don't matter if you're from west or east, north, south, Midlands or overseas. You could have the best equipment on road. I'll still sound better when I flow over beats. Lyrical Jedi, many men high. Take out straight out, never let them get.
Black experience and music doesn't just happen in urban contexts. This is, in many ways, we look at the history of people of the diaspora from the Americas and Jamaica. we are only, in the last 50 years, mostly urban. In America, the African American population moved from being 90% southern to being 70 to 80% northern between two wars, the first and the second, and then after. Before then, it was a rural experience. The same thing if we think of Caribbean parents. Many would have not come from city environments, from rural environments.
So Africans became urban when they got associated with cities. So urban isn't really African or black, as all cultures come together to create the urban environment, which is exactly what's happening with the urban music today. But surely don't the root to these cultures start in Africa? A lot of people, they say the root of all music is black music or African music. What's your take on that?
Well, I would put it this way. If we say the roots of all popular music derives from African music, I think that's kind of easy to understand. R&B, rhythm and blues. Rhythm and blues was created by Blues and Soul magazine to make blues music palatable for like white audiences in America. Rock and roll. The rock and roll was an African American ism for making love, which became a form of music. So you had the Lindy hopping and them tossing people and doing all those kind of moves. Again, black music. Ragtime was a form of black music as well. You know, reggae gave birth to hip hop, gave birth to dubstep, gave birth to you name it.
I meditate, sometimes I get so high that I levitate.
I was watching the Mobos recently, and I seen that most of the awards was won by Jessie J and Adele. They won most of the awards.
Absolutely, and so they should, because it was set up for that. Here was an award that was supposedly supposed to acknowledge music of black origins, because black people weren't getting acknowledged for the music. But once it started to get all the corporate sponsorship, who vanished?
Black people.
Exactly. So it's a commercial thing. If it's a commercial thing, you go for the most commercially viable artist. The most commercially viable artist in the UK are white artists. Therefore, it makes sense that the Mobos are for them. When we look at things like the music of black origins Mobo, it's just a spurious award. It's just a money-making thing. And people should see it as that, you know. I don't have any problems with anyone doing any form of music, but when the person takes the music and acts like they created it or they're the best in it, you know, that's when it becomes problematic. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, how? Vanilla Ice came from nowhere, was top rapper. Snow started to DJ, everybody was saying he was the greatest thing. You know, Gentleman is another one. You know, he comes and he sings 2 tunes and all of a sudden he's the best singer. But compared to who? This is where you see we get the problems in the music. The problem is not the music per se, it's how the music is being packaged and presented.
Okay, I get it now. Urban is a part of packaging and presentation. But who is it packaged by and who is it presented to?
No one would ever say Bhangra is a white musical form. They wouldn't say it's an African musical form. They wouldn't say it's a Jamaican musical form. They would say Bhangra is Bhangra. What happens with black musics is usually they are taken over. So for instance, you go into a record shop, you're looking for black music. You go under the urban section, but all the music is black. The day before they decided to call it urban, it was black music. So it's almost like you change the name, you're trying to change the game, but you're not really changing the game. And it can work with black music and African music, but it couldn't work with Bhangra. Do you see what I mean? So I think it's a kind of different game that's being played, but it is a game nonetheless. Cultures always borrow and adapt. So when I say that if you ask me about the roots of the music, I will say Africa. for most of them, most of the popular forms of music. But I'm not just going to say it has to always be African and it has to be whatever, because people borrow and people change. You know, it's like if they didn't dump oil cans in Trinidad, off the coast of Trinidad, the only musical instrument that's been created in the last few centuries was the steel pan. So what are we going to say? Who made the oil pans? It wasn't Africans.
So if urban is a collective thing, how are we as up-and-coming black artists supposed to take on this label? What's Akala's view?
To me, urban it's a dangerous term. And it's really a marketing term. It's a term for media outlets that don't want to use the word black anymore because that's not fashionable. We're apparently a post-racial society. And it's a way really of ghettoizing, because urban means street, right? For urban artists, or rather black artists, to get on the radio, they have to make a particular strand of music. It's very clear, no one wants to admit it, but it's very clear. You know, and that strand of music has to be in line with particular sets of stereotypes that people are happy to see. Rock music was influenced by blues, right? Not even a little bit. Rock music comes directly out of blues, you know. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, you know, Pink and Floyd were two blues singers. That's how deep it is. Pink Floyd are named after two African-American blues singers. So rock music comes directly out of that genesis. Is rock music urban? The term Africa to urban is about an acknowledgement of the impact of the African diaspora and African culture on world music, because what we've continually allowed to happen, those of us that are of African Caribbean descent, is for other people to define our culture. When we define something as black, like Black History Month or black music, we're not doing it because we want to have to do that, right? Like I said, people spent tremendous energy, 200 years of energy plus, scholar after scholar after scholar. I can give you the books, a library full of books trying to prove that black people weren't even human, right? And had never done anything smart. So when we emphasize what we have done, it's not us, you know, asking for favors. It's us saying, yo, the power institutions of this world spent a very bloody long time distorting our histories and our contributions, from music to art to architecture to science. I think it's only right to any reasonable human being that we spend some time redressing that balance.
So urban is not black, urban is not African, urban is not European, and urban is not white. Urban is urban. As for me, I am African, I am black, I am an artist, and I am highly blessed.